Hi everyone, welcome back to my video podcast. Today we're going to do another book review. Again, you're watching Teresa and this is Chat with T. Today the book we're going to be reviewing is called Fine Boys by Eghosa, Imasuen. Okay, this book is one of the books I bought recently myself. Like nobody told me about it. I just happened to come across a bookstore. I went in and I thought, wow, let me buy this. Eghosa Imasuen. I'm very sorry. Eghosa surname. Eghosa surname is a Nigerian author and he studied medicine in University of Benin. I feel like that is the only two things I would say about him because the main character of the book was studying medicine in Uniben and yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. He is currently a medical doctor and he writes on the side, so writing is his hobby. He is best known for Fine Boys. You can get Fine Boys in Nigeria, and I am not sure after that. Like apart from Nigeria, I am not sure. I was trying to get information on places you can get the book, but I don't know. You can also not pirate the book. I tried. So let's talk about the book. We'll talk about the writing style and everything. Let's just jump right into the book. The writing was hard. It was a very hard book to read. I don't know if it's because of what I like reading. I started reading romance novels. That was my first love, really. And then I started reading African fiction. And in African fiction, I like reading about women. This book was hard because the words were very new. I kept on googling. It took me about 3 weeks to finish, and that is just because I wasn't disciplined enough, and because it was a hard read for me. But this is one of those books that at the beginning you're like, oh, why am I reading it? But then at the middle you're like, whoo. And then at the end you're like, I don't know, but I love Fine Boys. I think that it is an important part of African literature. Like it actually incorporates what boys experience in life. So the two main characters in the book are Iwan, and the book is written in Iwan's perspective, and William. No, let's start with Iwan. Iwan was born into the classic Nigerian household. I would say classic middle class Nigerian household. You know, your father has money but he's stingy. Yeah. We all understand like what life was. It was very interesting reading this book. Okay, let me not digress. Let me stick to it. Then we have William. William's mom is German and William's dad is Nigerian. So William was, according to Iwan, the real half caste. This book was very funny. Like that is something that I've not yet come across. A book that is genuinely funny. Like I don't know how you read jokes, but I read jokes and I laughed and I'm like, wow. So Imasuen, Eghosa, I will not call him by his surname. Eghosa like really did a good job like incorporating the funny bits of the book. This book was amazing. Have I said that? It was a beautiful book. Emotions. Let me talk about the emotions that I went through reading the book. I had basically one emotion really. Not one. At first was boredom, and then second one was interest, and the third one was numbness. I was completely numb towards the end of the book. I don't know how to explain that, but for some reason I believe that this is the reaction Eghosa was going for. Like, when you've just accepted the reality of Nigeria, and you're just like, that's how I was. As I was reading the book towards the end, I was just like, it's unfortunate. The first point that I want to discuss from the book is dysfunctional parenting. So, with a one's father, typical father, I was telling you, has money but is stingy. Like, you have money to, like, give your children a better education, but for some reason you believe that they will benefit more from suffering the exact same way you suffer. So to build character, I feel like suffering is a part of life, and as a parent you understand that. I'm not a parent, by the way, but I'm guessing as a parent you should want to save your children from certain suffering, but you would understand that certain suffering is inevitable, and you would, bless me, allow them to make mistakes and learn and build character, and to also learn from your experiences. Like, that is also important. But we didn't see that with Ewan's dad. He wanted his children, like, he wasn't a bad father, but he wanted his children to go through what he was going through. He was adamant in how much money he would give his son as pocket money. Speaking of money, reading this book, my concept of money has changed. The concept of money in this book was very, very weird, because now we'll be hearing 1,000 this, but then 750 naira for a month was what a one was getting, and it was the most disturbing thing ever. I feel like Eghosa stayed through to his timeline. I mentioned that there was always constant breaking of the fourth wall and showing of what was going on in actual Nigerian society, but he stayed really true to when, like, what was happening in that time, like money wise, or the things he has access to and things that were popular then. For some books, although they'll say 1980s, like, you can almost read them in today's age and forget the how would I put it? I forget the timeline which the book actually claimed it was written in, or the experiences happened in. But Fine Boys stayed seriously through to its timeline. It was beautiful because it reminded you that things were not always these prices. Like, there was once a time, like, coin was a thing. They are talking about, like, oh, how 5 naira could buy you Fanta. 5 naira Fanta. Like, I don't know. It's very, very interesting, right? But the point is about dysfunctional parenting. Anyways, we see Ewan's dad was also abusive. Well, we will say abusive now, but in that age, he would have been a loving husband, unfortunately, because he only beat his wife once in 2 years, or they only had a big fight once in 2 years where beating was possible. And so he would have been a loving man then, but it's very, very dysfunctional. At some point, Iwan is in the shower in the book, and he's remembering, like, Michael Jackson, and the type of music Michael Jackson sings, and he was like, what if Michael Jackson has my mommy and daddy as his mommy and daddy? Like, what type of songs will he be singing? Oh, they fight every 2 years. Like, it was funny. Like, Fine Boys was very, very funny. It's first time I was reading humor, and I think, like, Eghosa did a good job. Eghosa in the book called the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, no permanent friend, and I was like, yes. I don't know if that is a saying, but it was first time I'm hearing it. No permanent friend. You know how police is your friend? Nigerian police is no permanent friend. They'll be your friend if you give them, small change, and you are set free. But if not, say bye-bye to your life, say bye-bye to your rights, say bye-bye to everything you know up until that day. In the book, we see a lot of cultism, and I want to discuss like the mindsets that you have to be in to want to be in a cult. I saw the benefit of cult in the book. I don't think this is what Eghosa was going for. I don't think Eghosa wanted people to see, oh wow, cult is not that bad. But I saw why people would want to be in a cult. The entire point, like, you have, is like having ride or dies, or being ride or dies without having a choice. For example, so if I was in a cult and somebody did shit to me, like, all my brethren would support me and will go and fix the issue however we see fit, will benefit, like, together, everything. There is that togetherness in cult. But one character, Tambo was a dysfunctional character. He was an Aberu that desperately wanted to not be an Aberu, but it was just in him. Like, he saw how good life would be if he wasn't an Aberu, but but he was just who he was. Tambo, let me tell you something that's quintessential Tambo. Tambo steals money, and then like, steals money in the flat. First of all, he's not even paying for the flat. He's like, the group of friends decide to get a flat, and they decide they will help Tambo out, and Tambo is living with them. So Tambo decides to steal, whose money did he steal again? Tambo decides to steal Meseri's money. And then Meseri is like, oh, where's my money? And they are throwing a party. Tambo was not pointing out people, like, it could have been this person. I think it's this person. Not feeling well that he stole the money. It could have been this person, could have been that person. And then somebody decided that it would be best if they all go to a juju man, and the juju man would tell them who stole the money. Mind you, Tambo was the person that suggested that they go to a juju man. Like, he was the person that introduced them to a juju man in the first place, this juju man. And then now that they're saying, okay, yes, let's go back to that your juju man, Tambo's like, no, I don't remember any juju man. What are you talking about? That was not me. And everybody's gingering Tambo, like, oh boy, not be you, that, that I can't speak pidgin, but I successfully read pidgin, everything. It was an exciting book. I wouldn't lie. It was an exciting book. Like, when you got into the book, it was a good book. Desha and Tambo decides to sideline them and go to a new juju man, and then he spoke Igbo to the juju man and lied, like, begged him to blame the people that Tambo was already pointing out to be the thieves, knowing well he was a thief. But even after they finished from that juju man, the friends were not satisfied. The friends were Ewan, William, Tambo, just a group of boys. They were roommates in first year, so they just decided to be friends throughout. And then Meseri, so decided to go to the original juju man that Tambo had recommended for them. And the friends even were taking over, like, yes, we think we remember this place. It was like at this junction, past this junction, we moved here. Tambo now had the remembrance all of a sudden, like, oh yes, I remember now. They go to this juju man's house. The juju man is not around, and Tambo was like, okay, yes, let's go. But they waited, and the juju man came, and the juju man found out that Tambo was the person that stole the money. Like, you couldn't just confess. As they were almost entering the house, you couldn't just confess and say, oh boy, na me, this. And do you know why he stole the money? Because he was owing cult fees. Tambo was a cultist, of course. I've already described him as an Aberu. He was a cultist. Unfortunately, you would think joining cult is your prerogative. Do I want to join a cult, or do I not want to join a cult? But if you're a fine boy, I guess, like, if you're a handsome guy, you have a bit of money, you have that confidence, that it factor, different like cult would want you, so they'll be gingering you like, oh, join us, oh, come for our party, oh, do this with us, oh, do that with us. So they kind of groom you so you can be in their cult. And let's talk about love. There was an element of love in the book, like there's an element of love in every book. Iwan finds love with Amide. That was his ultimate love, and how he described this as easy. It was a contrast. Iwan was like torn between wanting the passionate love that he saw between his parents, but then also seeing how disastrous that can be. Like, you know, your father hitting your mom, like it's not nice. And Iwan made that conviction that he would never ever hit a woman. And so in a way he was almost put off, unfortunately, from that kind of passionate love, because he has drawn a correlation from passionate love to abusive relationship. So he settled for Amide. So he settled for Amide. I don't know if you call it settling, but he described his love with Amide as easy. He described the love, you know, just something that is there. It's not passionate and fiery and all that. It's just easy, you know, like a companion, and you can just move life. And I don't know if that is what love should be. Do you know what I mean? And like, love should definitely incorporate the fiery, I don't know if I can live without you, I want you right now, you know, the passionate sides of things, and not just easy going. But at the same time, I feel like love should be easy. Like, love shouldn't be hard. It should be something that just comes effortlessly, and you see yourself just choosing to love this person over and over again. Let's talk about the overall of the book, although I have been talking about the overall of the book a lot. One thing that stuck with me in the book was the writer's note at the end. I read the writer's note and I was like, wait a minute. I mentioned that the book was written in a one's perspective, and the writer's note was obviously written in the writer's perspective, but basically I felt like Iwan was writing the writer's note, if that makes any sense. And I always think that writers embody a different character, but it was as if this writer just wrote his experiences, and I am intrigued how much of this did he experience himself, and how much of this is fiction, like did he make up. I think a lot would be real and very little, you know, devil's in the details. I feel like very little will be fake. Now let's rate this book. Writing style was very hard. Even though I enjoyed the book, the writing was very, very hard to read for me, I think. Relatability, again, this book showed me a life that I am not aware of. I know snippets of how, and I'm not aware of. Although I didn't feel like I was in the book, I knew that I was not in the book, and I'm not experiencing this, and I don't know the characters full hand. I didn't feel the characters' emotions. So relatability is quite low, but it's a good book. Value added, I feel like, is very, very high. Like, words I learned, I put down the list of words that I learned, and I can just put them up on the video. I'm not sure if anybody's interested in words that I learned. So overall story and plot line was beautiful, like that. So with that, I give this book 6 out of 10 stars. I'm very, very tempted to give 7, but the other books that I have read that I would class as a 7, I don't think that this book is on the same par. So I'll give it a 6, a very, very strong 6.8 out of 10. That is what I give this book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Again, you're watching Teresa, and this is Chat with T. Do you know, I felt like all those white tourists that come to the safari with khaki shorts and a gray shirt and binoculars are just looking at the animals like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, that is what I felt like reading the book.